feel comfortable to shop and experience the whole customer service that we try to strive here for, and experience the product at the same time. I think that's the biggest thing I want a customer to come in and look at.
Todd Minten, manager of Eddie Bauer's Bellevue Square store, is well versed in his company's legendary values that mesh perfectly with his own.
So I was actually in college and saw a part-time position for a retail company, and that's all it said on the bulletin board, and so I applied for it and interviewed and found out it was Eddie Bauer. I just took a seasonal part-time position with them, and that was in 1990 actually, so 22 years ago that I actually joined the company.
Eddie Bauer opened his first sporting goods store in Seattle in 1920. Eddie's story and Eddie's stories are integral in training new associates.
When I got trained, that's when we actually went through the whole Live the Legend basically back then, and was, amazed that it was actually founded by a 20-year-old entrepreneur, and it was real, and he was from the Northwest, and I'm from the Northwest too, so a little bit of a connection there that took me into the company.
The connection that Todd relies on when mentoring his team.
Everything somehow relates back to Eddie Bauer's work style back in the 1920s when he first opened his store. And we do have a saying here, it's what would Eddie do? And we know that Eddie would actually satisfy the customer no matter what.
Because the customer is always right, even when they're wrong. To make sure every new associate understands the Eddie Bauer creed and guarantee, he shares this legendary story from Eddie Bauer himself.
He was selling tennis rackets in his own store, and he did his own stringing then. And a customer had bought the tennis racket, brought it back and said it wasn't strung properly. It was strung proper. It was like the customer left it out in the rain and it warped and it just destroyed the item itself. And Eddie handled it. He was frustrated with it because he knew he strung it personally. He took it in back, and even though he was frustrated, it's just like, you know what? He needs to make the customer happy. And so he restrung it for the customer to make the customer happy, and it did. And with that, customers started spreading the rumor that, you know what, Eddie's the great place. They have a creed and guarantee. He will take back anything to help you out and make sure that you're happy at the same time for his product.
Before Todd can train a new associate, he needs to hire them. What makes that perfect Eddie Bauer employee?
When we do look for our new associates to come on board, we're really looking for someone that's passionate to the customer, that has some background of selling, that is passionate about the outdoors too, because we are an outdoor company. The other part is that can they sell? Can they actually interact with customers? And I think that's the biggest thing. It's just not selling the product, but can they just socialize? And that's a big thing for us here, because that's how you get onto the customer's agenda.
An agenda that is focused on outdoor activity.
We want to get people outside. We want them to have fun, experience product at the same time, experience different activities that they might have never have done in their life, and also to, commit a team together and build teamwork at that same time.
While Eddie Bauer associates are well versed in company history and build bonds with their fellow workers and their customers, it's their focus on a goal that keeps them and Eddie Bauer stores moving to reach new heights.
With selling and with retail, there's always goals out there, and you always want to be better than the year before that. And I think the biggest thing is that if you don't have a goal in front of you, then you're just sort of mellowing out. So when you put goals out there and you can make those steps going to the goals, it's going to be a fun atmosphere, as well as you get success out of it too. So making sure there's very clear, precise ways to get there, and then having an open forum from your team to figure out how to get to the next goal. And when you have that open forum, they can actually, feel better that they contribute something different to go to the next goal.